Godzilla and Kong unite against a common enemy, the formidable and cruel King Scar, who is trying to enslave the entire planet, threatening to destroy all living things. This is Pennywise Recaps, and today we're reviewing the fantasy thriller Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. Get ready for incredible plot twists. The mighty Kong lives on an empty land inhabited by prehistoric animals. Despite his size, the king of the primates faces flocks of predators. Kong fights near a cliff, and the leader falls into a pit, after which the ape activates a trap and throws stones at the predators. Kong tears the carcass in half, drenching himself in green blood. The surviving predators decide not to fight him anymore and run away. Kong feasts in the cave, but is distracted by a broken tooth and a cheeky lizard stealing something. He goes to check the source of the noise, but finds that it was just a frog. This upsets the lonely primate, who is the last of his kind. The story moves to the surface of the earth. Dr. Eileen, an employee of the Monarch organization, tells us that Kong and Godzilla have divided their territory after their last meeting. The primate lives inside the planet, and the lizard lives on the surface. Godzilla confidently protects his territory from other titans. After another victory, he goes to sleep in his coliseum. The Monarch's observation post reveals a passage to an unexplored area that opened up after the collapse. The strange signal is reported to Eileen and her adopted daughter Gia, who is the last of the Ivy tribe, the natives of Skull Island, where Kong is from. She experiences hallucinations due to the signal, and in a trance draws three mysterious figures. Doman realizes that the signal is coming from nowhere. To investigate, Eileen goes to visit an old friend, Bernie, who hosts podcasts about titans. In exchange for his help, Bernie wants to go to the empty land with the Monarch team. The conversation is interrupted by a message from the Monarch. Godzilla comes out of hibernation. The Titan gets out of the Coliseum and heads to Tibet, breaking through a portal from the empty land. Kong has a bad tooth, and the humans are the only dentists he knows. To treat the tooth, they engage the best veterinarian. He attaches cables to Kong's sick tooth, which is pumped full of sedatives, and in a few minutes pulls out the canine with the root, replacing it with a new tooth made of a polymer composite. Bernie theorizes that the mysterious signals from the depths are a call for help. To find out the reasons, the Monarch equips a group of people led by Eileen. Godzilla makes his way to France, where he destroys the reactors of a nuclear power plant to feed on the radiation. The Air Force tries to attack him, but Titan destroys the drones. After flying over, Kong sees a huge shadow in the fog, the source of which turns out to be a red-headed cub of his kind named Sukong. Kong extends his paw as a sign of friendship, but the cub bites him and runs away. Kong runs after them, but it turns out to be a trap, and he is attacked by three huge primates. Kong realizes that he has defeated many worse enemies, and he takes care of the hairy thugs. When Suko tries to scratch his face, Kong uses it as a weapon. One of the attackers almost falls into the abyss, but Kong catches him and pulls him out. Not appreciating the kindness, the rescued man grabs for the knife. As a result, Kong throws him back into the abyss. Having dealt with the bandits, Kong picks up his axe and orders the red monkey to take him back to the base so that he can explain to the locals that a new leader has appeared in their food chain. The people on the empty ground nearly fall over when a flash of a strange signal nearly shuts down all the electronics. Gia says that the signal is getting stronger, pointing in the direction of the source, and uses the writing marks of his people, the Ivy. They reach the ruins of an ancient temple, where they see a bas-relief depicting the Queen of Monsters, a butterfly. The butterfly tells Gia to turn on the irrigation system. A stream of water leads them to a giant organic wall that responds to touch. Breaking through it, Gia finds a passage to the dungeon, just like in her dreams. Energized, Godzilla shines like a Christmas tree as he crosses Spain toward the sea. When he reaches the water, he dives, mysteriously disappearing. The submarine follows him to the Arctic Ocean, where, according to the Monarch, the Titan Tiamat lives. In the underworld, Suko leads Kong to a lake and invites him to drink water. Suddenly, an unknown creature attacks the primate, wrapping itself around him. Kong quickly explains to the aggressor that he is now in charge. Frightened, Zuko runs away, but stumbles over an axe thrown by Kong. He is afraid that Kong will punish him, but he does nothing, and even allows his hungry relative to eat a water snake. A submarine in the Arctic Ocean witnesses a battle between Godzilla and Tiamat. The underwater snake wraps itself around the lizard, shackling its face. But when Godzilla activates an energy beam, the remains of the enemy float to the surface. The group is captured by the local tribe of Ivy, who bring them to their village, where strange energy sources can be seen powering portals to the planet's surface. The natives silently examine the strangers until the queen of the tribe appears and notices Gia. Recognizing her as a family member, she tells the story of the confrontation between the ancient titans. Once upon a time, the king of the primates led his people to the surface to conquer it, but was defeated by Godzilla. The lizard imprisoned the king in the underworld, but the time for the last battle has not yet come. It will begin when the tribe's lost child returns home and awakens him. Meanwhile, Zuko leads Kong across a bone bridge in the shape of a dead giant's spine. Soon they arrive at a tribe of giant monkeys working for the king. The proud Kong goes down to them to offer help. When the disgruntled overseer growls at him, Kong kicks him in the teeth. Kong's victorious roar attracts the attention of King Scar, who descends from his seat with a crystal weapon. The king deftly dodges and strikes, but Kong manages to grab the axe and put a noose around Scar's neck. He throws him over himself, ready to continue the fight. However, the king senses the danger and gives the command to block the lava flow with a stone. Behind it is a prison for the Titan Shimu, whom the orangutan controls with a crystal, inflicting pain in case of disobedience. The captive dinosaur attacks Kong with his icy breath, knocking out the axe and freezing his paw. Realizing that he is losing, Kong flees to the cave that Zuko shows him. Kong keeps the axe as a trophy after the battle. The king's servants chase the wounded Kong across the empty land. Kong lures them into a trap, but they notice a stretched rope and step over it. Suddenly, however, rocks fall on their heads because Zuko has activated the trap. Exhausted, Kong and his assistants walk away, not noticing how the surviving enemy gets out of the rubble. Watching them, Scar's minion finds the village and portals to the surface. He returns to report this to the king. Scar notices Kong's frostbitten paw and realizes that Kong needs immediate help. The veterinarian suggests a prosthesis made from a secret project, a prototype of which is stored in the armory of the observation post. After finding out about the portals, Scar saddles up Shimo and sets off with the army on another conquest. Meanwhile, on the surface of the Earth, Godzilla eats the energy reserves of the late Tiamat and appears in all its glory with a renewed pink energy source. A plane delivers a cybernetic prosthesis to strengthen Kong, containing large doses of medication, from the armory to the native settlement. Zuko reports that Scar is on his way. Realizing that he cannot survive the rematch alone, Kong prepares for the fight and goes through the portal to the surface to invite Godzilla for help. But the humans are afraid that the lizard will think that the primate is encroaching on its territory and will immediately start a fight. To avoid this, they perform a ritual to awaken Mothra. Gia climbs the stairs to the top of the energy source of the two worlds to a giant butterfly. Mothra takes a closer look at the girl and takes her away. She flies away to fulfill her destiny. The portal takes Kong to the desert near Cairo. As he approaches the pyramids, he growls, summoning Godzilla to a constructive dialogue. The lizard hears the call and responds, traveling across the sea and ignoring human bridges. The doped-up Godzilla rushes into battle, ignoring Kong's attempts to engage in a dialogue. The primate throws sand in the lizard's eyes, but this does not save him from a powerful throw. Kong strikes with his new prosthesis and then finishes off Godzilla. He drags the stunned lizard by its tail to the portal, not noticing how it wakes up and activates the energy beam. Kong is forced to flee the beam in a sand curtain. Godzilla creeps closer and throws his opponent, trampling him into the ground. The glowing, huge butterfly calls on the Titans to unite to defeat their common enemy. The natives are preparing to destroy the energy crystal by self-destruction. Kong and Godzilla follow the portal. They rush to Scar and Shimo to beat them all up. However, the combined crystals change the gravitational fields, and the battle takes place in the air. Scar skillfully uses whips and an axe to attack Kong while the lizards fight each other. Shimo activates his frost breath, nearly turning Godzilla to ice, but Mothra's intervention saves Kong. Mothra also saves the plane when gravity suddenly returns. After pulling the other Titans to the surface, they find themselves near Rio de Janeiro. Shimo's breath freezes everything around him, but Kong's precise punch knocks the king out with a broken tooth. Godzilla attacks Shimo. The monsters continue to throw each other, destroying the city's buildings along with the population. Godzilla doesn't hit Scar with a beam of energy, but he uses his teeth to intercept the whip and bites it, releasing the crystal. Godzilla helps Kong, who is trying to freeze Shimo. The dinosaur is unaware that Scar has lost the crystal that was causing the Titan's pain. While the older primates are fighting for the crystal, Zuko appears with an axe and chops the crystal. Kong and Godzilla strike Scar with powerful blows, and suddenly, Shimo realizes that he is finally free. Finally, one of the ancient Titans takes revenge on his tormentor for the years of imprisonment by freezing him forever. Kong throws the ice sculpture into the abyss, thus arranging a happy ending for all mankind. Kong and Shimo return to their tribe, while Godzilla curls up in the Colosseum and finally goes into hibernation after a hard battle. Thank you for being with us. Subscribe to the channel, like us, and be sure to click on the bell to stay up to date with our new videos.